Toronto is one of the fastest growing cities in North America and is home to thousands of musicians, poets, painters, filmmakers, and artisans from around the world. But who are they? How do they create, and what is their process? And how do they follow their dreams in Toronto? These are the questions, and we're looking for the answers. Today, I'm sitting down with Narvaez, a Brazilian-Canadian photographer and filmmaker. My name is Taylor, and this is your Inspo.
Hi, I'm Narvaez, and I'm a portrait fashion photographer and also an editor.
Tell me more about your backstory.
Okay, I was actually born in Venezuela. I lived there till I was 10 years old, and then my dad was transferred to Brazil. And then my whole family moved. So we lived in Brazil from 2006 till 2018.
How long have you been doing photography for?
So I've been photographing for 10 years. I started when I went to university because I went to film school, and then I started to learn photography on the side in 2013. So yeah, almost 10 years.
Interesting. How did you find photography?
Oh, I always thought it was really cool. So I grew up being a huge fan of shows and movies, and I've always been obsessed with behind the scenes.
When you were growing up, was your environment conducive to experimenting with the arts and going into that field?
I feel like everything was mostly because my mom was very artistic. She wanted to be a singer, and she's always been dancing around. I feel like she didn't get the chance to be an artist herself, so I thought that was a good thing for me to pick. And also I wasn't very good at other things, and I thought like I had to pick something that I could have fun. Because I've seen a lot of people just growing up and doing things they didn't want to do, and then just accepting that in life, and I didn't want to have the same future, I guess.
So would you say moving to Toronto has transformed your career or your passion at all?
It was good to change, like to move, because I was stuck. I feel like I was stuck in Brazil. I feel like I wasn't going anywhere. And I also felt like, oh, I already know everything here. I'm not getting anywhere. So when I was able to move here, I was like, oh, actually seeing new places and meeting new people will change everything that I know. And then I started to learn new things and try new things. And then I was like, oh, this is kind of fun.
What's the evolution of your photography style look like?
I feel like it was more complicated at the beginning. I was just trying everything at the same time. Because at the beginning, you kind of don't know. You're copying other people. I feel like after you do that and you find your style, you can still be inspired by other people, but it's gonna start looking like you. And I already found that place. So I'm still very inspired by other artists and musicians and everything. But now I feel like I already know what I like, so I don't struggle that much when it comes to like new inspirations and everything. So yeah, I feel like also the fact that I already found my editing style makes everything easier, because I feel like everyone can shoot a certain way, but if you don't have your editing style, that's gonna complicate everything. Because I feel like a lot of people are nervous at the time when you're shooting, but I feel like they shouldn't be nervous at the time when they're editing. Because that's what's going to make your photos look like you or look like someone else, or just ruin everything as well. Right. Or save it.
Or save it.
Or save it.
There's a shooting style and there's an editing style. What's the difference between those two?
Like for me, an example is I do a lot of like close-up portraits. So that's a style for me. A lot of people like to do like full body, or I don't know, I use a lot of backdrops. That's a shooting style that I have. That's what I'm gonna do every single time, like for now. A lot of people like to do outdoors, so I feel like that's a shooting style. It depends if you want to do more of a fashion, more of a portrait. And then with editing style, it's if you want to make it more dreamy, more, again, like everything has a style. Like you can be fashion when you're shooting and fashion when you're editing, or fashion when you're shooting and dreamy when you're editing.
I guess with photography, you can have a shooting style, and then when you go into editing, you can really do what you want, and you can make the same photo look like 5 different things.
Yeah.
Give off 5 different energies.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I can edit a photo today and it's gonna look a certain way, and then tomorrow I can do it again and it's gonna look different. Just because I'm gonna use different presets and things that I have on my computer. And also if I do it like in a year from now, it's gonna look totally different as well, because I'm gonna have a different style, or I'm gonna try colors that I didn't like before. Like for a while, I didn't want to shoot black and white. I was like, this is boring. I like to play with colors. But now, last year, I was in a phase that it was only black and white, because I found a really good style of editing that worked. So, but also for black and white, you have to like have ideas for the shooting, because it's gonna look better when you edit. So yeah, you have to like be aware of both things when you're gonna do them, because otherwise the editing can be difficult if you didn't plan the shooting a little bit.
What inspires your creative process?
My coffee. I always have to have my coffee when editing and thinking, otherwise it doesn't work. Since I started, everything has been very movie, music inspired, so everything is kind of dreamy. Well, all the dreamy stuff that I'm doing is actually because I'm obsessed with K-dramas at the moment. Watching a lot of their shows just shows me how different everything is. The style of editing and like the photography, it's crazy, the difference. I'm trying new things that are inspired by that. But I'm normally inspired by horror things. Like Halloween inspired vibe. I love everything that is very gory, scary, but also sexy at the same time. So we have to make it cute.
Sexy gore.
Sexy gore.
Sexy, dreamy, gory.
Yeah.
We're adding new words.
Exactly. I think everything works. I've done a lot of photo shoots inspired by Hannibal Lecter, my idol. I love him. I love him. He's just iconic.
Why?
Because he's fabulous. From the show. I mean, he's like rich and he likes to cook and he likes art and music. He's just questionable, but that's fine. I have a lot of photo shoots inspired by Hannibal, but that one is my favorite. That's actually my favorite photo shoot still. Like when people tell me to pick a photo, that's gonna be the one.
Wow. It's a cover of your portfolio.
Yes. So that's inspired by Hannibal by a few scenes and characters in the show. It's not a specific thing. It's just a bunch of like symbolism from the show. And I did it in a very hot summer day in Indiana. With my sister, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
With my sister, we got a backdrop from Goodwill. It was so hot. And she was holding, so the photo has 2 hearts. They're real hearts. They're pig hearts. She was holding them and they were full of syrup and all the flies were coming. And she dropped them and then they were full of grass. And then I was mad and she was mad and we were fighting, and then the photo shoot was so short. It was like 10 photos and I was like, just get out of my way.
Yeah.
Go away. I don't want to see you anymore. But then when I got the pictures, I was like, okay, this is actually very cool.
Mm-hmm. And then what is the editing process?
Oh, that picture took around 3 hours. Okay. Just because I took 4 pictures separate and then I put them together. because the crown that she has is a bunch of knives, but I only have one, so. And one hand.
One hand?
I don't have assistants, so I had to do it multiple times.
So did you do a timer for the photo?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I just had to put it, run, hold it,
check it,
and then just tell her don't move for
right.
4 photos.
Right, so she had to do the same pose for each
yes.
photo? Wow. And was that difficult? Like in post, did you see that there was some
no.
differences? No?
No, because the main photo was the most important one. And then the knives, it was fine. I just had to like fix it in Photoshop and just to like show them behind her head. So it was easy to edit. But then what took a while was like, I had to make her eyes black and then do the cut in the neck and the silver tears and her gold tears. So yeah, I feel like it was more about details instead of like the actual 4 photos together. That took a while.
It's beautiful, I love them.
I love that. I love the whole photo shoot a lot.
I'm curious if there's ever gonna be a photo shoot that tops it in your mind.
Oh, I think about it every day. And I'm
do
like,
you try to fight for it? Like, ooh, I wanna do something bigger than
yes,
this or better
but I'm
than
like,
this.
I don't know. I feel like everything was going wrong, but the photo was so good.
Everything was wrong, but the photo was right, and that's what
exactly.
matters.
And then I'm like, other photo shoots are great, but that's still my favorite. Also because that's my favorite combination of colors, blue and red. And I actually have a whole series of that. I do a lot of red and blue photos. So I feel like I got the colors really good in that shot as well. So that's gonna be my favorite for a while.
Yeah. Do you, let's say you're doing a Hannibal Lecter inspired shoot, would you show your model images to get them inspired and get them in the mood? If you're inspired by a musician, would you put music on? What does that look like?
Yes. If it's by a musician or a specific song, I'll play that song, the whole thing, like on repeat.
Really?
And because if we're doing videos as well, I will be like, you can like move depending on how the song sounds. Because you get into the mood, like you feel the song and you're like, oh, this is what they're saying, this is how it sounds, so I'll try to recreate it. And yeah, for the shows, I will show like scenes from the show, photographies that I like, or specific scenes.
What's quote unquote a good model for you?
The ones that are not afraid to look crazy. If a model comes with the phrase like, oh, I don't look pretty, if it's only on this side, not this side, don't touch my hair, it has to be always on the side or just in the middle, I don't think that works. Like, we can do a photo shoot, but it's not gonna be the same.
Getting them out of that sort of awkward phase, what does that look like?
I normally just talk to them a lot. When they come to my place, we talk for like 30 minutes, we have coffee, we talk about what we like. And then we start shooting, and normally they start doing everything by the end. So I feel like if we do 3 looks, the third one is gonna always be the crazy one. So I always like to look at the first photo I took and then the last one, because everyone is like, yes, everything is working, I feel great.
Does that influence you to save the best for last?
Oh yes. We always shoot like the last look. It's gonna be the best one and the craziest one, because they feel more comfortable and they're willing to do anything. So it's, at some point people are like, oh, do you want me to like take everything off? And I'm like, just chill, everything is fine. Yeah. You're doing great, you don't have to take everything off.
Before a shoot, do you have an idea of what you're gonna do, or do you kind of just walk into it blind?
Normally I like to collab, so I message people and I'm like, what do you want to do? And if you have inspiration and photos to send me, just do that, and then I'll match whatever you want to do. So we have both styles in one, and we both like the photos, because I don't think it makes sense just for me to like the photos. Yeah. So I will look at that, and then I'm gonna be like, oh, just pick 3 outfits that you think work with the shoot, and then I also have a lot of clothes and everything, so we can play with whatever. And then just come, and then we'll see how it goes. I don't plan too much, because I feel like planning can make you do like bigger things, production and everything, but I feel like when I'm shooting at home, that's not necessary. And also it depends on Also, it depends on how people feel. So let's see how you feel on that day and how I feel, and then let's see how that goes.
Like if you had a bad day, now it's going to be
Yeah, it's gonna be different.
It's going to be emotional and yeah.
Yeah.
And you have so many things and little knickknacks around the room. It's kind of fun to just play and test things out.
Yeah, and I love that people have fun. They come here and then they want to like touch all the hats and the dresses and everything. And yeah, that makes everything fun.
When you're doing, because right here you have a very stable environment, you know the lighting basically, and you know the setup. When you do go outside of your house, what's the difference in setup and the shoot for you?
I do get nervous because I'm like, I don't know if, because I never prepare for things. I don't know if that's good or bad. But I just,
process.
Yeah, I just go to places and then I'm like, I'll figure it out when I'm there. So sometimes I'm like, I look like everything is fine, and in my mind it's like, I don't know if this is gonna work, because the lighting here is not that good, or something like that. Like I went to a studio on Friday, everything was dark, and I was like, I never shoot dark, so I don't know if this is gonna look good. I try my best. The pictures are great, but I was like, it took me like a few more minutes than normal to be like, okay, I think this is gonna look good. I have to pretend everything's fine. Yeah.
Sometimes you just put on a fake face and...
Exactly. And it's like, if you look like you know everything, people are gonna be like...
Act confident, nobody will question it.
There you go.
Walk in with confidence. If you were talking to somebody who wanted to enter photography, what advice would you give them in terms of the kit that they need starting out?
I feel like they don't need the best camera. They don't need to spend that much money. If they get a good, decent camera and then one lens, I think that's great. I shot for like 7 years with the same lens, and then I got a new one, but it was the same camera for 9 years.
And anything else other than the camera that somebody should have?
I use a filter.
Your little kindergarten
My
filter.
little ugly filter that makes everything dreamy.
Your toilet paper filter? Where is
It's
it?
there. Actually, my grandma made this. She made this for, she did like 3 colors. All of them are gone.
Oh.
Yeah, they just ripped. But this is the last survival.
And you only have one filter. Like this is it.
This is the only one that I have. I had other colors. This one, it doesn't matter if it's green because I can change it in Photoshop. But so yeah, this makes everything dreamy. A lot of people use Vaseline on the lens. I don't like that because that can, yeah, I don't like that. You can just make one of these and everything looks great. So yeah, I just use this in most of my photo shoots, and that's the style that I'm doing more this year. So every single picture that I take is with this. And I like that people come to me and they're like, oh, I know that when I open Instagram, I already know it's your photo just because of the dreamy look that this gives. So yeah, I feel like people can try a lot of things. This is just paper. If you buy different types of paper and try filters and just use like socks. A lot of people use socks in front of the lens just to do a dreamy filter as well.
Like a pantyhose or something?
Yeah. So you can try with things at home, and there's a lot of YouTube tutorials of how to do things. So I could buy a dreamy filter, but you can make one.
That costs you probably 2 cents.
Yeah. This is like
Or-
toilet paper thingy.
Yeah.
Paper.
Basically free. It's reduce,
Yeah, it's
reuse,
free.
recycle.
Honestly, I didn't. My grandma made it, so it's free.
We love it. We love it. And it's your grandma with you at all times.
Yeah, here you go. I saw a photographer one of these days and she was like, oh, I've been working on this project for like 3 months because I was so sad and I had to put everything out. And I'm like, for me, like that doesn't have to be for everyone. Like not that way. I'm having a good time. And it's still art. Like you don't have to be putting all of these emotions out and suffering and crying.
What would you tell your younger self?
I would tell my younger self to keep going. there is a lot of waiting, which I'm still waiting. But I'm trying to not, I was very like, this is not going the way I wanted, so everything is gonna go wrong. This is never gonna happen. But I feel like I got to a point where I see that things are not moving that fast, but I also feel like they're gonna happen at some point. So I'm not rushing, I'm not desperate. I'm just like, I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now. I think this will take me somewhere, probably not that fast.
You're young.
Yeah,
You're young.
well, am I?
You were young. You still are young.
But I mean, I was more desperate before. Because I have this thing, I'm super scared of dying and everything ending. So I think about it.
Because you love horror and death.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I love everything dark, but I'm super scared of dying and just everything disappearing. That doesn't make sense in my mind. So I think about it every single day. So from a very young age, I've always been like, I'm gonna die tomorrow. And I'm not doing anything. I'm 18 years old. I didn't do anything. But I did things. They just don't sound too big to me. So like at that point, at 18, I was doing like, I did a photo shoot for a book. I had a few photos on the Vogue Italia website. I did work for an agency. I did like my own photo shoots, but still in my mind, I was like, that's nothing. But when I see it now, it's like, oh, that's actually a lot.
I think a lot of people can have creative blocks too.
Yeah.
And do you consider yourself somebody that is affected by creative blocks or creative hurdles?
Sometimes when I feel like I keep shooting the same thing over and over. So that's when I find new channels with new music and new movies with things that I want to try, and then that can inspire me, and then I'll go and try those. But again, it's fun. It's not like, oh, I'm stuck, everything is going wrong. Oh, it happens.
outward.
I'll just do it another day.
Right, look outward, look for inspiration, things
Yeah.
that spark joy or
Exactly.
creativity. So where can we find you?
Okay, so you can find me at Narvaez Photography on Instagram and the Jenire on TikTok.
Yay! Everyone follow.
Follow, please.
Boost. I'm so excited to see you take a photo of Harry Styles.
Okay, so yeah, I'll call you when that happens, and then you can be my assistant.
I will. Oh my gosh, I would do behind the scenes of you.
There you go.
You know? Okay.
Just to prove that I was there.
Deal. We're done. Deal. Have that on camera.